Please be upstanding for His Worship the Mayor of the London Borough of Hounslow, accompanied by the Deputy Mayor and the Acting Chief Executive.
Hi, good evening to all. I welcome members of the House, officers, public, and those watching at home to this meeting. May I ask the telephone to be put on silent mode? Can I ask members that they cannot tweet, but the public can? May I also check if everyone has the following agenda documents? The main agenda, the supplementary agenda. Everyone has it? Okay. Who hasn't got it? All right, okay, that's fine. Yes, your choice. That's fine. May I remind all the members that all debates should be done through me, the mayor, and without interruptions. We had a good and respectful meeting the last time we met, and I hope that we can do so again today. As I said at the last meeting, I would like us all to set a good example to others. So, whilst it is fine for us to disagree politically, we must always do so in respectful manner. I know I can rely on members to remember this when contributing today. And may I also remind that the points of order can only be about breaches of the Constitution or law. Finally, please do not run on your microphones. Please do not turn on your microphones until I have asked you to speak. The microphones are connected to the video cameras used for our webcast, and so if you press them too soon, they move from the person who is actually speaking. Thank you. We will now move on to the first item of the agenda. Apologies for absence have been received from Councillor Williams, Councillor Kaleem, Councillor Asim, and Councillor Tuniliki. And I've got apologies for lateness from Councillor Bruce. Is there any other apologies? No? No. Okay. Gary Gariwal. Yes. Apology. Okay. Councillor Bikram Gariwal.
Apology for lateness, I think, is it?
For lateness or for lateness? Thank you. May I draw your attention to the document on declaring interest? Is there any declaration of interest? Anyone? No. Okay. Agenda item 2. We now come to the announcement. First of all, I have 2 announcements to make. As some of you will know, I hosted the Mayor's annual charity cricket match on Tuesday, 5th September at Wakeham House Tennis and Cricket Club, Australia. I would like to thank everyone who supported me at the event, either by playing or attending. I've got another announcement to make. We have a respectful guest from Pakistan sitting here in public gallery, Advocate Supreme Court Ghulam Murtaza Chaudhary, who will be observing this meeting today. Welcome, Mr. Murtaza Chaudhary, to Hounslow House. Is there any other announcements?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Members will be aware of the government's new regulatory regime for social landlords, including this council, introduced through the Social Housing Regulation Act, which will now come into force from the 1st of April next year. Our housing service is working intensively to ensure that we are fully compliant. Although at this late hour, the regulations are still subject to ongoing public consultation, and the proposals for the new inspection procedure have not yet been finalised or published. It was with alarm at the beginning of this month that we received a letter from the regulator of social housing informing us of their intention to charge the council, and by extension our tenants through their rents, £105,000 per year to administer the regulatory supervision and carry out assessment of the council against these new measures. It cannot be right that the government should impose regulation, a new and additional burden on a group of independent bodies, and then force them to pay for the same, effectively recharging this to their tenants. If the government is serious about realising the benefits of regulation, it should fund the regulator directly through its own very substantial resources, not transfer the cost to landlords and their tenants who are struggling to maintain service standards of living amidst government-caused economic crisis. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Is there any other announcement? Yes, Lily Bath.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wanted to take this opportunity to share with members today the success of our grant-funded holidays, activities and food programme, which was held over the summer holidays for children across the borough. The programme supports children on free school meals with access to local free activities and healthy food during the holiday seasons. The programme kicked off with the launch of the holiday activities food programme on the day that the children actually broke up from school, the 21st of July, and was attended by over 1,000 people. Free food and entertainment was made available, and all the providers were in attendance promoting their offers to families across the borough. So over the summer, we've run around, the actual HAF has run around 53 different sites across Hounslow, offering various activities such as multi-sports, basketball, cycle coaches, animation, construction for young people, dance, computer coding, acting, and of course the most popular and favourite activity of all was football. So the programme created around 1,707 places for children and young people to be involved, of which 1,302 places were actually taken across the borough. In total, we had about 2,381 eligible children who participated in the programme across the summer holidays, which is a huge number, which I'm sure you agree. So 85%, just a bit of stats here, 85% were participants from primary age children, 15 were from secondary age, and 15 were participants of were SEND children. So obviously a hugely important programme for us here in the borough, and it's part of our commitment in supporting families during some obviously very challenging times. What I really wanted to sort of share with you is that this obviously this takes place during the holidays. All of this information is on the council website, and I would really encourage everybody here who may come across a family that might be eligible for using the programme over the Christmas and Easter holidays. Even if they're not eligible, there is discretionary funding available for vulnerable children and families. So please do share. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone? Councillor Samia, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I wanted to take this opportunity to let everyone know here about the London Borough of Hounslow has been recognised for its achievement in supporting people who are living with dementia through a major national growth and has been awarded dementia-friendly community status by the Alzheimer's Society. Hounslow is extremely fortunate to have people from all over walks of life, from health professionals to community members, who are committed to supporting. Hounslow is proud to join 433 communities across the country who have entered the dementia-friendly title. It has been particularly rare in Hounslow, having also been recognized and accepted by the prestigious film festival Glimpse will be shown as a part of the festival in November. Adult social care truly live at the value of empower people with dementia to have high aspirations, confident in the knowledge that they can contribute and participate in activities that are meaningful to them. None of this could have been achieved without the tireless effort of our workforce across adult social care and public health, and their determination and dedication to ensure that people living with dementia are given every opportunity they need to lead active, fulfilled life. On this note, I would like to thank everyone in the borough who has made this award possible and all my senior leadership team. Congratulations for all the hard work every member of staff has done always, and for this award as well. And thank you for Councillor Marina Sharma for doing a lot of work on dementia. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Chaudhary. May I ask if any other cabinet member wish to speak? No? Thank you. Agenda item 3. We now come to the minutes of the meeting of the council held on 18th of July 2023. May I ask member if they have any corrections that they wish to propose? Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to put you to page 11 of the agenda, and it's the penultimate paragraph, penultimate sentence. The mayor described Baron Kerslake. That's a misuse of the title. He's either Lord Kerslake or he's the Baron of his barony. So I believe that we should replace the word Baron with the word Lord to be absolutely correct usage.
Thank you. It's noted. Any other correction? Okay. Agreed. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Any matter arising? Okay. Can I ask member to agree the minutes? Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. Okay. Agenda item 4, petitions. May I ask members if they have any new petitions to present? None? Okay. Now we move to the second part of the process. We have no petition for consideration at the council meeting itself this evening, as those listed in the submitted report are to be referred elsewhere for consideration. And now may I ask members to note the petition listed in the report. Thank you. Agenda item 5. We now come to the appointments, which is a standing item on our agenda. I have not been made aware of any nomination, but would ask if there are any. None. Okay, thank you. Agenda item 6, decision taken under urgency arrangements. There's none here. So we'll move to item 7. Okay. We now come to the part of the meeting where we deal with council questions. We have 6 questions this evening and a total of 45 minutes to deal with them. And can I remind proposer that and any seconder that is only 5 minutes for this. Can I invite Councillor Ahmed to ask her question to Councillor Shaheen?
Thank you, Mayor. Building on the success of both England women's football and cricket teams over the summer, winning through the Ashes and getting to the World Cup final, what can the council do to capitalise on this success and promote sport to girls in our borough, especially teenagers? Thank you.
Councillor, you may respond, yeah?
Well, thank you very much for that really important question. And you know, it didn't start this year. The phenomenal success that we've been seeing in women's sporting teams, whether it's football, whether it's cricket. I mean, this has been a long time coming and massively overdue. The national attention and recognition and love and respect for women's sports that is finally breaking through on the national scene. But you know, in Hounslow, we saw that last year, for example, with the Women's Euros, which we were a key part in hosting at Brentford Football Stadium. And just think about how far, you know, we've come as a borough, as a nation. I mean, 2 decades ago, we were the borough of Bend It Like Beckham, where you know, women's football was struggling to cut through and gain the respect that it needed to. And now we've got the success that we're rightly seeing now in women's sports. And I think it's very important that we continue to build on that momentum, to continue to support female athletes and sportswomen in our borough and young people coming up. And I mean, taking the Euros as an example, we've got the legacy work that's coming through with the Women's Euros, and that's UEFA legacy work, and some of the target areas for that across London. And important to us is, for example, female-specific disability football opportunities, extracurricular opportunities in schools, increase in active female coaches, and increase in active female referees. So one of the things that we can talk about locally that we're doing is the funding that we're giving to Ealing and Hounslow Refugee Project, offering bespoke training opportunities for refugee groups. We've got Soccer Size, which is a football activity session that delivers fitness with football for women. Wildcats, which offers girls aged 5 to 11 a chance to try football for the first time and provide regular opportunities to play. Squad Girls, which is a great opportunity to start up recreational football for girls aged 12 to 14, and Disability Football, which includes flexible, inclusive, and accessible opportunities for everyone. And you know, this is through our Lambton Leisure. We're doing a lot to encourage activity. Women's activities in sports, and in our leisure centres, I mean, we've got female-only activities, which includes swimming, aqua classes, gentle exercise, Bhangra, and I mean, these are, I mean, a key to providing women both across the board here, providing women both the space to exercise and to participate in sports, the encouragement, and also fundamentally the funding as well. And I think, as I say, there's a huge amount of momentum nationally, but also locally coming off these tremendous sporting achievements. And it's something that I'm very keen that we continue to capitalise on.
Thank you, Councillor Shaheen. Councillor Ahmed, do you have any supplementary?
No, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Over the summer, we've witnessed a number of unauthorized occupations of open spaces across the borough, often resulting in fly tipping at significant cost to the council. The council has a very effective enforcement process and a team of dedicated officers. How are they dealing with these unauthorized occupations? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Rahman, for your question. And I understand everyone's worries regarding encampments. Let me just tell you that last year we had 7 encampments. And this year, since July, we've had over 40. But I can reassure you that as soon as the council is notified of an encampment, officers from the neighbourhood enforcement team attend to confirm the details of the occupation and carry out welfare assessments of those on site. Romani Gypsies and Irish travellers are legally protected from discrimination and must be able to access mainstream council services if required. If the decision is taken to evict the encampment, a legal notice must be served on the group. And if this notice is breached, the council can apply for a court order to take further legal action. If the court grants the council a removal order, this again needs to be served on the group. And if this is breached, the council may utilise bailiffs to enforce the order. The process has necessary associated timescales and is dependent on court availability, so it can take several days and weeks to process. Enforcement officers work closely with our colleagues who assist with our enforcement activities and can intervene in extreme cases. However, the council as landowner takes the lead in majority of these occupations. Once an encampment vacates the site, then colleagues in our park service attend to undertake the necessary remedial action. And this year, we have further invested in preventive measures such as bunds and in more of our parks and open spaces to attempt to restrict and limit access from the encampments, though it doesn't seem to be working very well. There are more of them coming in, but I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Councillor Garewal. Councillor Rahman, if you have any supplementary question.
No, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Garewal and Councillor Rahman. Thank you. Agenda item 9. Can I invite Councillor Sarai to ask his question to Councillor Bath?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. There has been significant local and national press coverage for GCSE and A-level results, but there has been very limited press coverage for BTEC and T-levels. I was just hoping, which many of our students have worked hard to achieve. I was just hoping if you clarify the results and achievements of our young people, please, Councillor Bath.
Thank you, Councillor Sarai. Can I ask Councillor Bath to respond?
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Sarai, for your question. And you're absolutely right. We do place quite a lot of emphasis on A-levels and GCSE results, but not that much on other qualifications, which quite a lot of young people do get very good grades and achieve really good outcomes. So I think that's really important. But having said that, we've continued to get really good success in the borough, which is fantastic. So our A-level pass rate again improved from 96 to 97. A-star grades again went up from 5.1 from 4.4. The percentage of pupils achieving 5 or higher in both GCSE English and Maths again improved. And our English baccalaureate scores had also seen an increase as well. Our pass rates for BTEC courses increased from 98 to 99%, so that's really fantastic as well. We don't actually have any specific data for T-levels at this moment, so it's difficult to comment on the success in this year's round of sort of outcomes. But however, looking into the future and looking at all the new work that we're doing around supporting our young people, particularly with our Youth Skills and Employment Guarantee programme, we will work with local educators to try and understand a little bit more about T-levels, and hopefully I can give you some more information here in the chamber. But we continue to be really committed to supporting young people to to secure skills, into routes to employment, and ultimately a good sort of quality job, which is at the heart of the commitment of what we do. But I also want to take an opportunity to thank all our teachers, teaching staff, etc., everybody in schools and colleges who work sometimes under very difficult circumstances to support students to, get the best possible outcomes. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bath. Councillor Sarai, if you have any supplementary question?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Yes, please, that's me.
Sorry, I'll repeat my question because microphone was not on. Can I invite Councillor Todd to ask his question to continue to Councillor Dunn, please?
Of course, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
I've got a question to Councillor Catherine Dunn, please. In September 2021, Cabinet authorised £1.2 million for Clean Air for All funding to, amongst other things, replace and enhance legacy air pollution measurement equipment in use throughout Hounslow. As I set out, the Clean Air for All programmes had the following deliverables, which were to be achieved by 2023. To identify areas in Hounslow where air quality monitoring can be improved and to upgrade the existing monitoring stations. To expand air quality monitoring through the installation of additional automatic monitoring stations and diffusion tubes throughout Hounslow to understand the distribution of pollution and any high-risk areas. To identify and implement actions that will reduce pollution down to WHO guideline levels in order to deliver clean, healthy air for all in the first instance, focusing on schools and public buildings. And this will be part of the Clean Air for Schools project. For reasons not publicly disclosed, some of the new equipment was not hired until 2023. There is no final date of installation known. There are, to my knowledge, only 2 PM 2.5 pollution readers in use in Hounslow. Particular matter 2.5 causes serious damage, especially to young children. Surprisingly, 6 were approved by Cabinet in late 2021. To date, only 12 schools have received air pollution audit from our Climate Emergency and Environmental Strategy Unit. The 2021 Cabinet report allocated £500,000 to this important task. Whatever our pupils and staff deserve, the benefits of such audits provide our residents evidence of our commitment to identify and address areas of high pollution. So my final point is, why has there been such a tardy response to the need identified in 2021 to provide sophisticated air pollution equipment and expertise to the borough and our schools in particular?
Thank you, Councillor Todd. Can I ask Councillor Dunn to respond, please?
Thank you very much, Councillor Todd. I welcome the opportunity to update members and the public on this important programme. So Hounslow schools have been at the core of the Clean Air for All project since its inception in late 2021. The funding committed by Cabinet to delivering cleaner air and improved monitoring is vital and demonstrates a strong commitment to improving air quality, along with the wide range of projects actioned as part of the existing Air Quality Action Plan and new actions included in the draft 2023 to 2028 Air Quality Action Plan, which is due at Cabinet later this calendar year following completion of the current consultation. To answer your question around school air quality audits, council officers in the Climate Emergency and Environmental Strategy team are working to deliver these audits, which are based on best practice examples from the GLA and other London boroughs. They are designed to maximise value to the council in terms of the pace of delivery, which should be reflective of the pressing need to tackle pollution in the borough. So far, schools have been audited at a rate equivalent of at least 2 per term, which is more than some of our neighbouring councils, many of whom are targeting just 1 school per term. This approach was based on discussions both internally and with officers from other councils to best understand how thorough audits can be completed and impactful solutions delivered. So to date, we have delivered 14 audits, and as a result of those, 5 capital funded interventions have been agreed and taken up by schools to date, with £400,000 committed to that over this financial year and the next financial year. The audits are by their nature quite complicated and require close working with schools and a detailed analysis. The delivery of these audits are in line with the expected delivery timescales. And in addition, our partners, who I'll mention again in a minute, our partners Hydrock will be delivering sessions in schools to improve pupils' understanding of air pollution. In terms of the monitoring, so the delivery of our low-cost sensor network has been slower than expected. This is due to the complexity of the contract, which attracted numerous bidders who asked many questions, and lots of clarification was required. Post-procurement, there have also been delays that have been there due to the long supply chain lead-in for these products. However, following the completion of the highly competitive procurement process late last year, we have been working closely with our supplier, Hydrock, to identify sites throughout Hounslow where detailed air quality monitoring is likely to best support our work by providing a better understanding of pollution issues on a local level and informing future projects where data has been lacking historically. The expanded monitoring will be delivered at schools and at other locations with high levels of sensitivity. The first sites are those with existing or planned school street schemes, as well as those in existing air quality focus areas. The logistics of coordinating multiple installation partners and identifying 100 suitable locations has taken longer than expected. But the equipment is ready for installation. Hounslow Highways are set to facilitate this soon, pending appropriate work permits for Hydrock. And given the longer lead times experience, we expect this equipment to be rolled out before the end of the current financial year. However, the majority will be in place by the end of 2023. And then finally, in terms of the reference monitoring, which includes the PM 2.5 monitoring, procurement of new air quality monitoring equipment for all of our existing reference sites, including 4 further PM 2.5 monitors, will be completed by the end of this calendar year, bringing all of these DEFRA level sites up to date with the latest monitors.
Thank you, Councillor. Thank you, Councillor Dunn. Can I ask Councillor Todd if there is any supplementary?
There is.
Okay, go ahead.
The last cabinet papers was very helpful. There was a considerable item on performance and risk throughout the borough. I think we've got a new unit. It was a beautiful coloured document. And what that carefully did in great detail, highlighted the extent and cause of pollution in the borough. And it cited things like gas heating. Now, gas heating is a form of heating found in many schools. And yet you've heard from the lead member, if I tell you there are 89 schools in the borough, there are 75 schools still awaiting an audit. I find that unacceptable, and the timescale given in 2021 has been exceeded. So I wanted to, if I may, tie down Councillor Dunn to a more tighter
Councillor
timeline.
Todd, can I ask you to come to the question, please?
I have asked a question. You interrupted me then.
Yeah.
I'm inviting Councillor Dunn to comment on the fact so many schools are outstanding.
Thank you.
So as stated, the rate of delivery of the audits is in line with our projections. It is faster than other boroughs are managing to do. Obviously, if that can be speeded up at all, then happy to look into that. But given the resources available to us, we are satisfied that we are delivering.
Thank you, Councillor Dunn and Councillor Todd. Agenda item 11. Can I invite Councillor Mashishu to ask his question to Councillor Rajawat?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The council claims to stand up for the poorest and those least well off, including those who have been disproportionately affected by the pandemic and the cost of living. The Mayor of London's ULEZ expansion now adds a further financial strain to around 42,000 residents in the borough of Hounslow. That means that those people including our neighbours, our friends, our carers, will need to get rid of their vehicles or be forced to pay an additional £4,562 annually just to take their children to school, perhaps to get to work, to get to a doctor, or just to exercise their freedoms. I met one family man in Hanwha village who was buying a black tape to cover his number plate. Whilst I do not condone his act to dodge ULEZ, we can't help but note his desperation and the desperation of others partaking in acts far worse. Does the leader of Hounslow Council agree with me that a duty to help and protect our residents from Sadiq Khan, does he still believe that we have a duty to act so that we can help prevent further inequalities in our borough, particularly now, especially during this ongoing cost of living crisis? Will he, the leader of the council, show leadership by introducing a local voucher scheme to support families and small businesses who now have £4,562 annual bill in addition to their outgoings? And if not, will he give us a full explanation as to why he is on the side of Sadiq Khan, not the side of residents?
Point of order, Mr. Mayor. Is there a question anywhere in the offing here?
Okay, well, can you just brief your question, Yeah. No, just,
Mr. Mayor, shall I repeat the question again?
no, not the whole thing, please, Not the whole thing, yeah. Okay. I know. Can I ask Councillor Rajawat to answer that?
Oh, I can read it. I don't think you can, Councillor
Sounded
Mashisho.
longer than that to me.
Excuse me, please be patient, yeah?
So I'll
And-
respond to the question as you wrote it down, Councillor Mashisho, and I really hope that you called 999 and reported to the police that driver that was covering his number plate, that illegality that you felt so desperate about. But I'm exceptionally grateful to you, Councillor Mashisho, for the question, and really, really glad that you've come to the view that the Shop Local scheme was such a good way to boost the local economy. Of course.
Point of information, please. Yeah, sorry, point of information. The shops was actually funded by the government, not by Hounslow Council.
Well, if you let me answer the question, answer the question, I'll come to that. I've only just
Excuse me?
started.
Yeah.
Apologies, it was a misrepresentation, which was being
Excuse-
recorded by the
excuse me.
chamber.
Wow.
But please do not
Wow.
interrupt while he's answering that, please.
Gutter politics. Well done. Well done, Tories. Well done. Congratulations. But of course, we will recall. Are you still going?
I'll answer first and then I'll give you a chance to speak, yeah?
I'll go when the mayor says.
I
You're
thought
not
we
the
were
mayor.
supposed to treat everybody with respect in this chamber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I ask everyone to be patient and, please respond, in a polite manner?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, of course, in fact, I'll start from the beginning. I'm grateful to Councillor Mashisho for his question and especially glad that he's come to the view that the Shop Local scheme was such a good way to boost the local economy. Of course, we recall in 2021 when the scheme was launched, he accused this administration of using it to buy votes. I'm glad he's reassessed his view on it. To clarify, the Shop Local voucher scheme was designed to help businesses, not households, and was funded by COVID grants provided for that purpose. While Hounslow did provide £20 to all households to spend at participating businesses in the borough, it would not be appropriate to provide blanket support to all households when some are better able to cope than others. To repeat, this scheme would have an estimated cost of £2.4 million if all the vouchers were utilised. Councillor Mashisho asks in his question, the written version, why I've not considered reintroducing the Shop Local voucher scheme. Alongside the cost considerations I've already mentioned just a moment ago, we must not forget that almost a year to the date, the Conservative government, led by Liz Truss, announced a fiscal event which crashed the economy and exacerbated the struggles of hardworking households in Hounslow. This also had the effect of doubling the savings gap of this council to levels last seen during the forced austerity period. Luckily, we've always been a prudent council and managed the money well. Where other councils have had to publish Section 114 notices, we are nowhere near that, but we will have to double down on that prudence. The council already has a wide range of financial support available to households in need. Hounslow operates one of the most generous council tax support schemes, meaning that those least able to pay receive up to 100% support towards this bill. This has a cost of £23.2 million to the council tax income annually. We also offer a discretionary housing payment, which are available to both council and private tenants who are struggling to keep up with rental payments. There is a budget of £834,000, which is spent in full every year. The Household Support Fund provides a further £2 million in direct financial support that can help those who are unable to meet the increasing costs of utilities or who have a large unexpected expense, such as the need to replace white goods. The council also has a scheme to provide free school meals to eligible households and has extended this to cover school holidays recently. Families can also access support to purchase school uniform, costing a further £2.4 million. And of course, I must at this point put on record this council's thanks to the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, for stepping in and doing the right thing for our young people by funding free school meals this year. Concessions are also available against various fees and charges, both directly from the council and through leisure centres operated by Lambton for the council. Additionally, the council provides indirect support to households via the voluntary and community sector organisations, which the council provides with funding to support their vital work. The Mayor of London has funded a scrappage scheme, which provides financial assistance to help eligible Londoners, all eligible Londoners, residents scrap vehicles that don't meet the ultra-low emission standards. And of course, it is of note that the government is playing politics with this, politics on clean air, by not doing the right thing and matching the mayor's scrappage scheme like they've done elsewhere. There is not any financial support currently available to businesses. However, the council does have a range of other forms of support to help businesses.
You have 1 minute to go, please.
Yep. Such as business mentoring, which is offered in partnership with the West London Chamber of Commerce, as well as the Advance for Growth competition, which is offered in partnership with the Chamber of Commerce and JC Deco, who are based in the borough. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Rajawat. Councillor Mashishu, do you have a supplementary?
Of course, I do.
But can I ask you to be concise and short?
Of course, all the clapping won't help you here, Leader. So you've avoided the question, as I asked, which was, are you on the side of residents?
Please do not interrupt. Let him ask the question, please. Thank you.
To note, the leader has avoided the question of answering whether he's on the side of residents struggling to pay ULEZ or on the side of the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan. So let me ask him again in my supplementary. Whose side are you on? Residents or the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan?
Councillor Rajawat, can you please answer?
Councillor Mashisho, you asked for a detailed answer. You got a detailed answer. The answer to your question is, we are always on the side of our residents, and so is Sadiq Khan. But let's be really clear. Your government has completely failed our residents. Liz Truss has failed our government. Rishi Sunak is currently failing. And Councillor Todd, just a moment ago, asked a question about our clean air commitments. Well, your Prime Minister is rowing back on all the clean air, so he will let people die. That is your record. Our record is standing by our residents. That's why there's 52 of us and only 10 of you.
Thank you, Councillor Rajawat. And thank you, Councillor Mashishu. Agenda item 12. Can I invite Councillor Emsley to ask his question to Councillor Sampson, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That was fun, wasn't it? Blimey. I was just missing the Chiswick Backwater comment. Earlier this year, the Housing Scrutiny Panel uncovered the scandal of hundreds of council homes lying empty across Hounslow. Can the lead member for Housing confirm that an urgent review into empty council homes in this borough is underway? And can she share when she expects to make the findings of this review public?
Thank you. Can I ask Councillor Sampson to answer that?
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Emsley. There is proactive work in the housing department to clear the backlog of empty properties, which are all at various stages of the relet phase. This has included working with Lambton to agree an alternative approach to clear the backlog in repairs, the latter leading to approval to bring in additional contractor capacity to complete outstanding repairs in order to relet the properties. The second strand is proactively working with the various teams to ensure that the blockages in the system are addressed using weekly meetings to track performance, set targets and review them. So we are due to go back to scrutiny on the 26th with a full comprehensive update, and I'll invite Councillor Emsley to attend that meeting to hear the update.
Thank you, Councillor Sampson. Councillor Emsley, do you have supplementary? Please concise and short, yeah?
Of course, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Councillor Sampson. I'll be there. I'm looking forward to it. As you know, the problem isn't just restricted to empty council homes. In Lambton 360's latest report, the number of outstanding housing repairs in this borough has increased from 57 in August 2022 to over 1,200 last month. That's an increase in the housing maintenance backlog of over 2,000% in just 12 months. Can you tell us what you're going to do to address these failings? And do you believe the current partnership with Lambton 360 is fit for purpose?
Yes, the relationship with Lambton 360 is fit for purpose. Like everything, we're tweaking, and as we go along, we're modifying as we need to make it fit for purpose. And that's where we are. But I haven't got the details to hand of the supplementary question asked by Councillor Emsley, but I will have that information available at the scrutiny meeting on the 26th.
Thank you, Councillor Sampson and Councillor Emsley. Agenda item 13, motions. We now come to the part of the meeting where we deal with motions. We have 3 motions this evening and a total of 30 minutes allocated to deal with them. The first motion can be found at the agenda item 13 of your pack. I now invite Councillor Bath to propose the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Before I introduce this motion, I would actually like to welcome Tyler, Melanie and Jennifer. And they are 2 of our care leavers and 1 young person in care. And I think this might be the very first time that you've come to Borough Council, so I hope it's not the last time. But welcome, and I hope you enjoy the debate. And I also like to, if there are any other young people, I'm not used to seeing young people in the chamber, but if there are any other young people, welcome too. Yeah, welcome, and welcome to you. Okay, so as you know, the local authority and we as elected members are corporate parents, which means that we have a statutory duty to act in the best interests of looked after children and care leavers. Currently, we have around 300 plus care leavers in the London Borough of Hounslow. And as you know, we have got a collective responsibility for not just providing the best possible care, but also supporting young people into the journey into adulthood and good career opportunities. I think some of you here sit on the corporate parenting panel, and some of you have sat on the corporate parenting panel before, so you've heard directly from young people in care, and sometimes they tell us about their positive experiences, and sometimes they want to shout at us and tell us about all the things that we do wrong, but that's what we're here for, and that's what we want to listen to. So as a cabinet member with responsibility in this area, I want every child in Hounslow who is in care and those who have care experience not only to be safe, but to be able to achieve all their ambitions and have the best possible outcomes and opportunities. I also want to make sure that we do everything possible to eliminate discrimination and prejudices, which is particularly this group so routinely face. And I'm sure that you have the same ambitions and the commitments as I do. I'm sure will have seen the statistics and outcomes for people who have been in the care system. Despite care experienced people making up only around 1.4% of the UK population, they account for 25% of homeless people in England, and a quarter of the prison population, and nearly half of all under 21-year-olds come in contact with the criminal justice system have been in care. So some of these outcomes are really poor. You may also be aware of several national campaigns that have been led by young people with care experience who are currently lobbying government for a law change so that the experience of care is a protected characteristic in equality legislation. I fully endorse this. I think this is an absolutely right way to go, and that's why I'm bringing this motion here today. In terms of some of our outcomes for young people in care here in Hounslow, we do have some really excellent outcomes, but we also got some really good ambitions as well. And I think we've mentioned a few times before here our youth skills employment guarantee, and also our pledge for young people, which is actually designed by young people themselves. But I believe that we can always do more, and this is why I'm bringing this motion here today. If we agree with this motion and support it, we will be making care experience a protected characteristic, which would help us as a local authority to strengthen and reaffirm our commitment to young people with care experience, but also it would give us the ability to champion them. We would also be making sure that we give young people in the care experience to have a much bigger voice than they do currently. So you probably are thinking, well, what does this actually mean for the council? When we develop our policies and make decisions around services across the council, and where we do an impact assessment, we would as a council have to consider the needs of those with care experience, just as we currently do with other protected characteristics such as age, disability and beliefs, etc. So it would give us as elected members a greater authority to put better policies in place for care experienced people and put better programs in place. So it's really building on what we already do. But before I conclude, I want to give you an example of where we can really make a difference, and when we go the extra mile. Some of you may be aware, you might have read in Members Matters that we have a council has a commitment to offer 10 apprenticeships at least to our care experienced people. And I'm really pleased to say that one of our young people in care has been successful in gaining a place as an apprentice in our planning department. They'll be at university, but they'll also be able to work here at the council, which I think is fantastic. It really is. Really well done. Yeah. So this is an example of when we really put the right support in place at the right time, we can really get some excellent outcomes for young people and help them flourish. So I think to conclude, I hope I've illustrated why I think we should be supporting this motion, and I hope you can. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Bath. May I now invite Councillor Alan Mitchell to second the motion and speak to it if he wishes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I'd like to second the motion and speak to it now, if I may. Thank you, Councillor Bath, for that very full explanation of what we're trying to do here. My experience in education, I know there's other members in the room who have similar experiences, often comes across young people who present with a myriad of problems and issues which they bring. Now, last December, I know a lot of us were at the Young People in Care Awards. I can't remember the name of the hotel up at Heathrow, but we went along. I didn't know what to expect, but I can tell you that an hour and a half later, I was absolutely amazed, very moved, and almost had a tear in my eye to see young people so happy celebrating their lives and what they were achieving despite what their lives had given to them so far. And there was one particular young man there who I had taught 3 years earlier, who came to school with a huge number of big issues, who not only performed in front of his peers musically, but in front of a room full of adults, got a standing ovation, and then afterwards was happy to go round and speak to all of those people and thank them for giving him that support. When I told my colleagues that the following day, they said, "You're pulling my leg." No, that's what we did. That's what this local authority does. And then on the corporate parenting panel, which I've been fortunate and privileged to play a part in the last year, along with Councillor Bath, Councillor John Todd and Ron Mushisho, who all make an excellent contribution. To hear those stories of young people and some of the problems they've overcome, or when they feel they're in a situation where they either sink or swim, and they've chosen to swim, I think that's brilliant. That's why this motion seeks to remove or minimize disadvantage that people in care experienced people find. Now, I mentioned education. For many in care, their teachers' aspirations are low when set against school targets, and they can become a problem, not a priority, like a lot of other young people. In 2017, only 13% of children in care got 5 good GCSEs. It's not good enough, is it? We all have our problems, but a past traumatic experience can impact study when it comes with a myriad of other regrets, worries, concerns, and vulnerabilities. And I see this every day. I know some other members do. I know Councillor Tom Bruce in his day job does. It may be assumed that a young person has roughly equal access to parental, peer and professional support when considering higher education. It's not so. We must maintain strong contact with the homes in which young people have lived, the semi-independent living arrangements where they have been living. And if past experiences of education can be affected, it can also lead to the criminal justice system. Many young people enter care due to neglect and abuse. This impacts on their emotional behaviour, which impacts on their behaviour itself, which becomes challenging, and there the problem exists. And what of starting out in the workplace? Probably the hardest thing we all have to go through. Simply starting out can be a problem if you can't easily access the documentation you need to present yourself with because of your care experience. In the workplace, we need employers to be just a little more flexible and understanding, to consider the past experience of care leavers and make adjustments, later starts, shorter days, maybe extend trial periods so they can gain confidence and just help them along because they need that helping hand. That's what we're here for. Councillor Bath made reference to what we've done here in Hounslow already, and I know the leader has been behind that since its inception. We've made conscious efforts to address some of these issues, including council tax, exempting young people from council tax who have care experience. But also, we have the Youth Employment Guarantee, which Councillor Bath mentioned. And through the rollout of this, we seek to guarantee parity of esteem and access to job and career advice and opportunities at the same level for every single person, regardless of what background they come from, what issues, because as we all know, our circumstances are different, every single one of us.
Can I ask you just to...
Sorry, yes. We have a wonderful team in Hounslow here, Mr. Mayor. And I have to say, I've been very impressed in the last year when I was fortunate enough to support Lily on Cabinet. This motion gives impetus to that commitment and this vital work. That's why I'm proud to support this motion, and I urge everyone in this room to support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Mitchell. Now we are moving on to the debate. Prior to that, I would like to mention here that every speech is for 5 minutes maximum, and members can only speak once. So can I ask the debate?
Okay. Councillor Thompson, please.
Thank you. I'm not going to say a lot because I think we've had two very powerful speeches from Councillor Bath and Councillor Mitchell. In particular, as Councillor Mitchell was talking, I was revisiting in my head the children I've taught over my 30 years in care. And I was thinking of some of the tragic life situations they come from and some of those children who have overcome so many obstacles and gone on to great things. And sadly, as we know is the case, and Councillor Buff mentioned, some of them haven't. Life has been difficult. And we know that children who have had that care experience often do face barriers that impact them throughout life. And as Councillor Bath said, we do a good job at Hounslow sometimes, but we know we need to do more and to do better. And I think this motion that's before us that we totally support is just a way of we as a council taking this area a little bit more seriously and not waiting around until government, and I hope they will, make this a protected characteristic, but they've had a year or so to think about it and need to get the skates on. So we certainly support all the recommendations that are on the paper before us. I think this will give those children and young people who have been through this experience the same sort of, well, access to the same opportunities that those of us who haven't encounter and experience in our daily lives. As corporate parents, all we want for these children is the same we want for our own children, that they live happy lives and healthy lives and they reach their full potential. And we're more than happy, as I said 3 times now, to fully support this recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Thompson. Can I ask Councillor Parazotto?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm also welcome to those that have care experience being here with us today. I'm really proud that we are proposing this motion to make care experience a protected characteristic. I'm not speaking on this from personal experience, but ours is a representative role. So it gives me great confidence that 3 in 5 care leavers want to see care as care experience as a protected characteristic. Children in care and those with care experience need that compassion and need to succeed. And making it a protected characteristic means that all institutions will take it seriously and encourage them to take those actions that will remove those barriers that Councillor Bath, Councillor Mitchell have addressed. Those that are involved day to day in the experience of bringing these children in care into successful lives are trained and have the expertise to support them. But we know that just like everyone else, they need the support from wider public and wider institutions for their support. And that's why it matters to make this a protected characteristic. At the moment, as we've seen, there are barriers affecting education, healthcare, employment, as well as the criminal justice system. And we know that here in Hounslow, we have a lot of children in care currently that are from an unaccompanied asylum-seeking background. So those as well will face additional barriers in addition to their care experience. So having that as a protected characteristic for them in the future will be incredibly meaningful. And this is a recognition for us collectively to change this and to make those progressive steps that are needed to remove the barriers that are currently affecting people with care experience. As well as making care experience is something that clearly we are supporting, but we can't wait for the government to address this with a legislation. So right now we have to proactively take those steps ourselves to make sure that we're delivering the best positive outcomes for the residents here in Hounslow that have care experience. Just like Councillor Bath said, that will include addressing those barriers, treating care experience as a protected characteristic, including people with care experience in the co-production and the delivery of services that are affecting them, as well as encouraging other bodies and partners that we work with to make that change as well. And we will be supporting care experience as a protected characteristic and doing those steps ourselves until the government brings that legislation forward as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Parizotto.
Mr. Mayor, can I move that we suspend standing orders to allow all the motions to be considered tonight?
Is there a seconder?
Yep, second.
Can we put to a vote? I will just ask you, can we put to vote? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, we'll put to the vote here. Can I ask who are in favor of suspending the orders? Raise hand. And who are against? Any abstentions? So that's not carried. Okay, we'll move on to Councillor McGregor.
Can I just say how much I welcome Councillor Pazzotti's remarks and comments and commitment to this particular motion? Very, very welcome indeed. I have a particular concern over the criminal justice system and its treatment of those who have been in care. And I have a very strong adherence to the idea that equality and justice are very often missing when it comes to dealing with people who come out of care into the general arena, as it were. I want to make it quite clear how much I support this approach, that care should be a protected characteristic in terms of government and local authority dealing with individuals. It's a very, very important issue. The trauma that many people suffer in care is not to be reconciled with the criminal justice system in many respects. The criminal justice system does not give advantage to those from care who may not have had the quality of life that enables them to live properly and fruitfully. I want to make it quite clear that my personal experience of looking after these sort of individuals from time to time is one which I enjoy. It's a help to people who need the help. And I think that the words that Councillor Pazzotto has given us are apt and appropriate, and I fully support it. Thank you so much.
Point of order, Mr. Mayor. Point of order, Mr. Mayor. Can I move the question now be put?
I'll second that.
Okay. All right. Okay. Can we go to the vote now? Yeah. Okay. For the recommendations. Okay. 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 Against the recommendation. Sorry. Okay. All right. We need a seconder as well. Yeah. Your seconder. Thank you. So can we go to the vote now? Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
So it's on the first bit. Should the question be put? Do a vote on that, and then we can move to the vote for the rest of it.
Okay. So what's asked the question to be put?
Yeah. Just vote on should the question be put.
Question be put. So shall I ask question to be put? Shall I ask?
Yeah.
Yeah. So question should be to be put. Yeah. Vote on it. Yeah. Okay. So can you in favor? Yeah. Okay. Against? Abstentions? No. So yeah. For the recommendation now. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. For the recommendation, please. Against? Abstentions? No. So motion carries. I'm going to item 13. Okay. So we're going to 14. Yeah. Yeah. Go to 14 now. Agenda item 14. We now move on to the second motion, which can be found at agenda item 14. Members will also observe for the supplementary agenda that an amendment to this motion has been proposed. I now invite Councillor Borwing to propose the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I believe it's undeniable that cargo bikes are a vital answer to the problems that modern cities face. And in a moment, I'll give you 10 reasons why. Before I do, let me tell you this motion asks for no capital investment. It makes no demands on our already stretched budget and aligns with our policy goals for active travel, net zero, vision zero, and air quality. Commercial cargo bikes can transport loads of up to 300 kilograms, which is about 3 or 4 councillors, depending, of course, which ones you pick. And various studies have shown them to be vastly more efficient than vans in urban spaces. For clarity, that means they get from A to B quicker than vans, and they can be up to 90% cheaper for businesses. Online shopping has caused a proliferation of delivery vans on our streets. Whilst this reflects consumer demand, it also causes problems to which cargo bikes are part of the answer. I promised you 10 reasons why cargo bikes are an answer to many of the problems modern cities face, so here they are. They relieve parking pressure, they reduce noise pollution, they decrease illegal parking, they decrease our CO2 emissions, they make our streets safer for pedestrians, they contribute to cleaner air, they're beneficial to businesses, they provide a more efficient service to consumers, they improve health outcomes for users, and they reduce traffic congestion. And they're already here, operating in our borough. This isn't some pie-in-the-sky idea that looks good on paper but will never actually happen. Cargo bikes are currently being used in Hounslow to take children to school, deliver groceries and transport goods to and from our historic and well-loved markets. But it isn't just parents and small businesses taking advantage of this cheaper, more efficient, cleaner, greener option. Cargo bikes are used by Amazon, Ocado, DHL, Asda, FedEx, and more. Barclays' investment arm just invested £5 million in them. And the global market is estimated to be worth over $6 billion in the next decade. This is no fringe concept. It's a reality. Brilliant for business, tempting for investors, and loved by consumers. If it isn't the future, that's because it's already the present. The case.
Can I just remind there's only 5 minutes left to for this item.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The case for cargo bikes are undeniable. The benefits are manifold, and the costs lie between negligible and zero. And may I also point out that this motion, it connects with every single key pledge in the manifesto all Labour councillors stood on last year to build a Hounslow that's more livable, thriving, healthier, safer, greener and cleaner. Residents mandated residents mandated trying to go too fast, that manifesto in their thousands. We told voters what we would do if they elected us. Let's do it. Thank you.
Can I ask Councillor John Stroutrup to second the motion and speak to it if he wishes?
Yeah, I second the motion. I'll reserve my right to speak, Mr. Mayor. I also believe there's the amendment which maybe Councillor Bowring might address.
Yeah, we know. We now come to the proposed amendment, which members can find it in the supplementary agenda. I invite Councillor Thompson to introduce it.
Right, thank you. Just to say we totally support it. When I've not quite got myself organised on the old shopping front, Ocado Zoom is a lifesaver, and I do sometimes pity the poor man or woman who has to pedal down to my house, often carrying the lager that I haven't ordered, or the evening meal that I didn't get quite round to picking up on the way back from work. So I think, as Councillor Bowen said, we all recognise the value they add. And again, we've all seen the brave parents pedalling along various parts of the borough with the cargo bikes with the 2 or 3 children on board. I had one of those myself back in the day when I was trying to lug prams and scooters, and occasionally one child on the front of the bike and one child somewhere else on the bike along the high roads of Chiswick and Brentford and Isleworth, dropping them off for school. And I would totally concur with you that obviously it's no brainer. They are a good thing. Fewer greenhouse gases, obviously polluting the atmosphere far less than delivery vans. This switch to pedal power is undeniably a good thing that all of us in this room, I hope, can endorse, not only for helping us to save the environment and to meet our climate change pledges, but also, as you said, cutting congestion and improving, as going back to an earlier item on the agenda, improving air quality. They are indeed the fastest growing sector of the bike industry that is, that they've been purchased. They're flying off the shelves. It's concerning for some of us that other, normal pedal bikes, electric bikes, maybe, I don't know, we're moving towards peak. They don't seem to be selling as much as they used to be. But every year, last year, I think it was 10,000 cargo bikes were sold, around half of which are used for the reasons that were mentioned in terms of commercial use. This motion is not meant to be a spoiling motion. I think that sort of view may have got around somewhere. It's just that if we are encouraging people, as we should be, to use them more often, I think we also have a responsibility as a local authority who cares about, our residents' safety, just to do our little bit to promote their safe use. Pardon, Mr. Mayor? 2 minutes, thank you. And it's not just a concern that, we have, that we just need to make sure people ride them safely and, don't injure anybody else. The Met Police are also looking into them because, again, there's a proliferation, as you said, Councillor, across London. And sometimes we know that they have commented. And again, it's down to bad practice and bad employers who perhaps aren't really helping their workers out on this one, who they pile them up and overload them and all the rest of it. So the motion, I say, is meant to be helpful. In the same way, we surely will be training our staff to use these things better. Let's just sort of cast that net a little bit wider and offer, if we can, and if we can afford it within existing budgets, let's just offer some training to people who want it, or at the very least signpost them to the skills that are needed, because it is a different set of skills riding a cargo bike than it is a normal pedal bike and or electric bike scooter. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I don't accept the motion, the amendment. I don't have time to explain.
Councillor Bowring, just wait for me to ask this, Now it's your turn, Councillor Bowring. Can you? Sorry. You interrupted me, Councillor Bowring, and it's not your turn. Councillor Tuck to speak now to second this motion. No.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I second the motion and reserve my right to speak.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, can I propose that we put the amendment to the vote?
Can we move to the question? Could the question be put on the amendment, please?
The time has lapsed. I'll just tell you that time has lapsed. It's I'll take the advice from the.
No, unfortunately, it's just, that's it. Once the time's elapsed, that's just it. So everything, other business that's not dealt with just rolls over. So the motions will roll over to the next meeting. Yeah. No.
No.
It's just the end of it. Once the time. No, that's how, no. Yeah.
Can I just come in now? Members, as we have now come to the end of the allotted time permitted for motion, and we have not heard the resolution to extend that time, we now move to agenda item 16, and any unheard motion can be considered at a subsequent meeting. Thank you. Can I, have some? Can I have some peace here? I have legal advice, and that's why I've informed you this. Thank you. Okay, agenda item 16. Any other matter that the mayor consider urgent? There is none. Agenda item 17, date of next meeting. The date of next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, 28th November 2023. Can I ask all the members to sign the attendance book if they have not already done so? And thank you, comrade. Thank you very much. Thank you, members. Thank you. Thank you.